More local sports commentary with Standard Speaker sports editor Dave Seaman. I'm Ken Kara. Dave, thank you for your time. You've been busy covering the Hazleton Area High School softball team. We record these segments on Monday. They had their game postponed on Monday, but when it does happen in the state semifinals, make sure you're following Dave Seaman on Twitter at Seaman Says Sport, and you will be able to find out the results from that game. We'll also have the results on SSPTV News. Dave, a lot of coverage for the Lady Cougars over the weekend in the Standard Speaker. I really enjoyed Steve Stallone's article talking about the tight-knit Lady Cougars and how a number of them were on the Valley Regional Warriors 10U team that won a state championship. And you just get that vibe when you're around this team that they're close, that they go back a ways. There's a great quote in that story from Caitlin Ketcher. I remember the last out, I was shaking, I was standing out in right field, and now I'm playing right field for my high school, and it's the same view, the same feeling, nervous but excited. It's a dream. A lot of those players, even if they weren't on that team, Dave, played on other travel teams together. You get that feeling when you're around them that they're very tight. It's definitely a family.
Yeah, when you interview them, that's a lot of them. That's one of the first words they come up with is family. They pick each other up. They know when each other's down, and that they're like sisters. They really are. And they're a fun group. They're a real fun group. Coach Bertoni tweeted something earlier this week. Their practice, I believe it was on Sunday, where they had an egg toss to end practice too. So a little egg toss. He said, but make no mistake, they're ready. They have a serious side when they're on the field and they're playing a game. And you don't want to get between the lines because they'll beat most teams they play, if not all teams they're seeing. But when they're together, they're just a loose bunch, a fun bunch, and they play other sports. But when they get together on the softball field, when they come together as one, it's a scary but fun outfit, and it's just a joy to cover them.
Now, egg toss probably was impressive because that defense on the Lady Cougars is amazing, and that's really been carrying them throughout these state playoffs, Dave. That defense coming along and being the star as the offense was really the star during the regular season.
Yeah, when you look at that infield, starting with Tiana Trion at third base, and she's too young to remember Brooks Robinson in 1970 or Greg Nettles in 1978, but she looks at YouTube at clips of those great third basemen from World Series past. That's what kind of defense she's playing right now. They don't make many errors. They don't make many mistakes that lead to big innings for other teams, and you do that in softball too. You limit the damage to other teams. You go up and hit, and you do the damage yourself, and that's what this team is all about. And they play defense as well as anybody. Talk defense. You go in the outfield. Need somebody. Olivia Wilkins, center field, is first year playing that. You think she's been playing that position all her life. Covers a lot of ground out there. And what can you say about Kieran Tolkien left? Another spectacular outfielder. Another one, a fantastic athlete in her own right. She's made more plays going to the foul line, trying to take away would-be base hits. She did that in the game against Pennsbury in the first round of the state playoffs, and again against Downingtown West. And here's a memo to opponents: don't hit the ball to Karen Tolk, but she's going to catch the ball. And then you talked about Caitlin Catcher too in right field. A first-year varsity player for the most part. She's quick as well, another heck of an athlete.
And Dave, last week over in your neighborhood in Hazel Township, you were over at the Biazzi household, hanging out, and then Dante Biazzi gets drafted by the Kansas City Royals in the 6th round. Dante, every time I've talked with him, Dave, a little quiet, a little reserved. He says what he has to say and says great things about his teammates. Did you see a reaction from him? I mean, was he excited? Did you see a little smile? Or
you do sense that. I mean, it's just it's hard not to get excited. I mean, you like I said, you're playing baseball your life for that one moment. He actually had 2 moments. He was drafted a few years ago before he's hurt.
He's been through this before, yeah.
Yeah, he has been through this before, and the family's been through it before too. But each time is different. And when the Royals made that call to him, he was ecstatic in a Dante understated kind of way. But it's a great joy, and it's a great tribute to the area. I believe we had 7 or 8 players drafted just from this area alone since like 2004 when Russ Kanzel was drafted. A couple years later, you had Kyle Landis and Justin Gutsy, and just a whole wave of players that have been drafted around here. And it says something about the commitment that our athletes make and the coaching that they've gotten, and the drive to make themselves the best and get a chance to play big league baseball.
And also congratulations, Reggie Crawford from Nord Schuylkill, drafted by Kansas City, I believe, as well. Dave, I want to close up the United States Golf Little League, turning 10 years old in Hazleton this year. And this is one of the biggest things that comes up when I'm out and people find out what I do in the Hazleton area, and they will start talking. They say, oh, my kid's in the Golf Little League. And it seems like it's really growing, Dave. And they've turned out some pretty good golfers, and it's a big celebration. I talked with Bill Moore, the executive director of the USGLL in Hazleton, telling me about how these kids learn golf. But golf also teaches you a lot of life lessons in patience and respect for others. It will also humble you very much, so congratulations to them. Hey, Dave, that Good Sports podcast that we're doing, Good Sports with Dave and Ken, now available on standardspeaker.com. Check out episode number 1 with Russ Kanzler, and episode number 2 with the Hazleton Area High School track team is coming soon, and we'll be working on them throughout the summer. Dave will be working with Steve Stallone covering the Lady Cougar softball team this week, so make sure you're reading the Standard Speaker.